when you have a loss or when you have a turnover or when you get down in the game or down in life, how do you as a leader motivate your students, your coaches? How do you deal with those moments so you can give everybody the best chance to win the game?
This year has been a really big success, and we're really proud of what we've done. But last year, our first year on varsity, if you look at the film, we look like babies. We look like a JV out there. We're young, no seniors. And so we were 5-6. We did make the playoffs last year, but we got bullied and beat up. And so just reminding them of where they came from and letting them see how far they've come has been huge. I've never received so much positive feedback from our community about how hard our young men played.
Welcome back to the Superintendent Podcast, SuperIntentional. So at our Superintendent Podcast, we talk about leadership and we talk about the great things that are going on in Fort Bend ISD and the great leaders that we have in the district. This is a perfect time of the year. Football season is just about over, and we know how important football is in Texas. We know how important football is in Fort Bend ISD. But most importantly, we know how much leadership opportunities come from athletics and football and fine arts and all the things that make a well-rounded student. So I am absolutely excited today to have one of our best, Coach Jackson. Coach Jackson is the head football coach at Crawford High School. He's doing a great job. Welcome to the podcast.
Hey, thank you. Thank you for having me. I really appreciate this opportunity.
How are you doing today? And how's the year been going?
I'm doing great. It's been going well. It feels like the season just started yesterday. But we're sitting right now first place in our district. We know we're in the playoffs, and we're looking to battle for that first place district championship.
So how long have you been the head coach at Crawford? We know Crawford's a new high school, just starting out. And I'm just curious about maybe some of the leadership nuggets that you really made a priority as you were beginning your tenure.
Yeah, so I was fortunate enough to have the opportunity to open Crawford High School. So I've been there as long as the school has been there. You know, that first year, it was all sub-varsity, and it was kind of a learning curve for us all trying to find a way. I have this nice big book that I brought to my interview to describe what I wanted to do and how I wanted to establish the culture there. And that book, while it was helpful, nothing is as helpful as the hands-on experience. And so my core values that I want to instill in the program have helped to be those nuggets to grow leadership in there. And it's family, effort, toughness, and discipline. And if I get the kids to believe in those things, and we've got them to believe in them, then the leadership has just taken off for the kids, for the coaches, even in the community. So those are the things that we do to grow leadership.
So, Coach, we are both really in our second year. Like, I'm about 2 years in terms of my returning to Fort Bend ISD. You're 2 years into your leading. And I think about all the things that a leader, a head coach, because I think head coach is a leader and a leader is a head coach. And so there are certain things you have to do to be intentional with yourself as a leader to make sure you set the culture where it needs to be and you get the right people around you. I'm curious how you have gone about making that happen this year for you specifically as the leader.
I'm a very reflective person, so I journal. I keep information about what's working, what's not working, and then I look at those things, and I'm constantly trying to improve. You know, I look at coaching and leadership the same way you should education. Be a lifelong learner, right? I can learn from other head coaches in the district, other coaches that I know, coaches that work with me on my staff, as well as I got an excellent building principal, and she's a dynamic, phenomenal leader. And so, like, just picking her brain and throwing myself under her wing and being like, let me be your mentee. You know, those are the things that have helped me grow into this second year.
The athletes are one thing, and we're going to talk a little bit about that, but you also have to coach your coaches. And that's a dynamic that as leaders, sometimes if we don't make sure that we're coaching our other leaders, in your case, coaching your coaches, so that they could be focused on the main thing, it may be harder to hit our targets. What do you do as a leader to coach your coaches and to make sure their work is in alignment with your vision?
Yeah, so I think it all starts with accountability, making sure that everyone understands what our goal is. So what's our mission? How are we going to get there? Okay, now are we working together to get there? And then reminding them these are the things that we have to do. So I'm intentional in like our agenda. Every week we meet at least 2 times a week. And on that agenda, there's some things that are on there every week. It's the kind of the reminders, non-negotiables. Like, this is what it looks like to be a coach here at Crawford High School. This is what it looks like to be a coach in the field house, but this is what it also looks like to be a coach in the building, right? I want my coaches to be present. I always say, don't just be seen, don't just be heard, be felt. Be felt in the building. They need to know where we are because we provide that support to our admin.
Today's athletes with social media, with NIL, with, you all are very successful, 8-1. You've got some of your athletes are being heavily recruited. And so you've got a voice in one ear, and then you have your voice trying to keep them focused on the present and the here and now. How do you as a head coach manage all those competing voices to make sure they're ready to show up Friday night?
It starts with that first core value. It really does. You get them bought in and brainwashed, for lack of a better word, but they believe in family. They believe that till that we're a brotherhood, that we're a family, and so they hear the outside things, and they're kids, so they're gonna hear mom in the stands, they're gonna hear dad in the stands, but it's that, hey, snap back to it. This family right here, we're on a mission, and they believe in what they've been taught, and they're seeing the fruits of their labor. So it's really now easy to go, hey, block that out because you're going to have all of that. You're going to have the opportunity to play at the next level. We're going to do our dangest to get you there. We're going to help you get recruited. We are going to put you in a position to make plays. We're going to make sure that when you get to the next level, you can get that NIL. You'll be on social media if you just do what we ask you to do. You're going to make plays. You're going to get clips, and they're seeing that. And so it's real to them. They go, I don't really need to worry about that because what my coaches are saying is happening already.
When you have a loss or when you have a turnover or when you get down in the game or down in life, how do you as a leader motivate your students, your coaches? How do you deal with those moments so you can give everybody the best chance to win the game?
This year has been a really big success, and we're really proud of what we've done. But last year, our first year on varsity, if you look at the film, we look like babies. We look like a JV out there. We're young, no seniors. And so we were 5-6. We did make the playoffs last year, but we got bullied and beat up. And so just reminding them of where they came from and letting them see how far they've come has been huge. But also every loss is an opportunity to learn. So we did lose this year. And that game was a game that our kids played their tails off. They played extremely hard. They never gave up. And so as a coaching staff, obviously we want to win, and the community wants us to win. But I have never received so much positive feedback from our community about how hard our young men played, and we're going to go out every game like that and play our hardest, and we're going to be consistent with our expectations for our athletes, win, lose, or draw. So they know that and they understand that.
Becoming a head coach it's not like something that happens very quickly. There's a journey and a process. And so I'm curious, what key things have you learned throughout your journey? What is it that is unique about your journey that allowed you to be where you are today?
Before education, when I was in social work, so I worked at a little old place called Circles of Care. It was a foster to adopt agency that worked hand in hand with CPS, Child Placement Services. We had kids that, born into just tough situations, and some went back home and it was great. Others, they were in the system for forever. And I mostly had the teenage group. And so that's where kind of my passion for developing that group of people came from. And it really is the thing that drives me. I can always look back to that, and it's given me the heart for like growing this group of people.
So when you think about how critical it is to be able to infuse hope and opportunity and perseverance in a young person, and then to see them put that all together and use your vehicle like football to give that person the best chance to be successful, that's got to be a good feeling.
It's the best feeling. We get these young people when they're 13, 14 years old, And to see them grow up into young men and young women, and football or sports in general will be the avenue that's helped keep them and get them where they want to go. It's awesome. This is our first graduating class at Crawford, and we got some of those scrawny little sophomores. They came in and they had squeaky voices and they were squirrely. And to see the young men that they've become today is truly awesome, and I'm so proud of it. And I love that football has been the thing that's provided a lot of discipline for them. Their parents have done a phenomenal job with them as well. But just being in that program and what they've given our program also, because they're the first group, and now everyone can look back at them and go, that's the standard.
You are building the culture. You have solid leadership principles that you put in place to build a winning culture, to help your kids get from where they are to where you want them to be. What is the vision as you get beyond year 2? You get into year 3 and 4. What's the vision from an athletic and a coaching standpoint, but what's the vision for the young men that you are building a future for?
We try to develop them. We have a herd, so it's about 6 to 12 kids, depending on where we are in off season, that are leaders, chosen leaders to be developed. They each have their own lines. They're responsible for the people in their lines. If someone's late to school, if someone's repeatedly late to school, then they'll run with that person. And so just trying to develop that ownership of the program for them. And then trying to build something that they're proud of, that they want their kids to come and be a part of. I want for our program to get that big here in Fort Bend ISD, where our kids who've graduated, when they come back, they want to move into our neighborhood so their kids can be Chargers and hopefully be coached by an elderly Coach Jackson and then the next person after me. I want them to have that pride in what we're doing.
I'm always looking to superintendents that have done great, that I look at and say, boy, they were an exceptional leader. Are there coaches that you look at and say, that's how you do it?
There's so many of them out there. I mean, if I look at the college game, obviously Nick Saban is the GOAT. He does it with, he's feisty, he's fiery, and I think that I have a lot of that in practice and in games, but also he's behind the scenes with his players. He cultivates relationships with them, and I also believe that I do that with my kids. So that is the gold standard in college football. High school football, obviously, Coach Samples does a tremendous job. He's been on a great run for so many years, and they're a powerhouse. But again, I don't think I have to look that far to look to great coaches. Right across the street, once a week, we meet with 11 other head coaches that I can depend on, that I can look to, that I can ask for guidance. All of them help me when I need it, but I'll give Coach C.A. at Hightower a big shout out. That guy's taking me under his wing as if I was on his staff for my whole career, and I never worked with him. And he's no greater compliment happened than when he looked at me and he goes, "You got it, Coach. You're doing a good job." And so that's meant the world to me.
We need to get some football talk in here. All right. So the tush push has gotten a lot of attention in the NFL. Have you ran the tush push?
So we tried it, and
really tried it.
We have a call for it. Our quarterback isn't the biggest. He's a good sturdy kid. He's about 5'11", 6 foot, 180 pounds. He's not really built for the tush push. And so we tried it a few times, and we've since scrapped it. But I know that people feel a certain way about it in the league.
Absolutely. Some are trying to make it, take it out of the league, I guess, because it's been so successful, or they can't stop it. So, but just curious about the tush push. Do you wear a hat or a visor?
Oh, man, I'm a hat guy. I am never a visor guy, never a visor. And sometimes if things aren't going right, that hat's going flying somewhere too. But the hat's been good to me this year, so I'll keep wearing the hat.
Well, I got to give me a Charger hat.
We can make that happen.
I got a helmet, but I can't wear the helmet around.
We'll get you a hat, absolutely. I'm going to call my baseball coach right now. We'll make sure that happens.
All right.
And one more thing about that tush push, that's those defensive guys complaining about trying to stop guys, keep people out of the end zone. Those offensive guys, we're all for it.
Because the program is still in its infancy stages, you don't have any kids in college yet that you can watch and say, oh, he came from the Charger program, so I'm watching UT this weekend. But are there any college teams that you watch?
Man, I used to watch them all. I used to watch every game from start to finish. That doesn't happen anymore. So my wife's from Michigan, so we watch Michigan almost every week. And then I've been a UT fan since I was a little kid, so I try to watch them every week, and I try to catch my Tigers TSU when I can. But that's about it. 3 is pushing it in a Saturday for us now. There's got a lot of game film to get after and watch, but I try to make sure we catch the Horns and the Wolverines.
But I got a feeling, Coach, in the next 2 to 3 years with what you're building, you're going to be watching a lot of former Chargers on Saturday playing football.
Absolutely. We got one headed, getting ready to graduate early. Trayson Richardson is headed up to Minnesota, so I will be a Minnesota fan, much to the dismay of my wife. I'm going to root for them.
Awesome. This is a SuperIntentional podcast where we talk about all the great things that are going on in Fort Bend ISD, but we also talk about leadership because leadership matters. And you heard that loud and clear today. Thank you for leading the way that you do, Coach. Thank you for being who you are. And we want to wish you a great run in this season. You got playoffs coming up, and so we're looking for you to take that next step.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
So answering questions from our stakeholders, whether it's a student or a parent or an employee, that's like my favorite part of the podcast. So now let's answer a series of questions from various stakeholders in the school district.
How you doing, Dr. Smith? You're here with Braylon Fisher, quarterback at Alameda Crawford High School. I have 2 questions for you today. What is your favorite iconic sports moment, and when are you coming to a Chargers game?
So my most recent favorite iconic sports moment is the 2019 Masters. Now, what's unique about that is Tiger Woods, it was his 5th Masters win, but it was coming off a series of injuries and surgeries and all other kind of things going on, and absolutely nobody gave him a chance going into this tournament. And to actually see him win the tournament and to see this big crowd following him on the 18th hole was incredible. Am I going to come to a Crawford Chargers game? Absolutely. So I am expecting y'all to make a big playoff push, and I will be at that first playoff game. So you got to make the playoffs. You got to finish the season strong, and I'll be at that first playoff game.
Hey, this is Coach Randall, repping Crawford. Dr. Smith, I was wondering if you had a favorite quote from a coach that inspires you today.
So when I think about coaches, they say a lot of great things. And so there are a lot of quotes that I like. There's one quote from Bill Parcells that says, "You are what your record says you are." And so if your record is a good record and you're winning, then it validates the work that you're doing. Also, I like the whole thought about the process. Nick Saban talks a lot about the process of becoming great, the process of becoming a winner, the process of being disciplined on the little things, those ordinary, boring things that sometimes we take for granted. But winners and those that excel at the highest level, they do those things more so in a repeated, disciplined fashion. So I'm all about the process as well, have learned a lot from others who really put a priority on the process and the work that it takes to be a leader in a sustained way.
Dr. Smith, what's one sport you'd love to learn to play?
So this year I got a chance to go to the U.S. Open, and that was so exciting. And I thought, gosh, I would really love to play tennis. Now, I don't know if I can play tennis at this stage. There's a lot of moving and fast cutting, and I may not be able to do that quite that much anymore. But pickleball is a sport that I've been really watching, and I hear it's a lot of fun. So I may put some interest in playing pickleball. So I'm excited to have Coach Jennifer Vaughn on the podcast today. So, Coach Vaughn, the podcast is all about leadership. It is all about the great things that are going on in Fort Bend ISD. When I heard your story, I was like, I got to get Coach Vaughn on the podcast.
That's awesome. Thank you.
So, yeah, tell me your journey. Tell me a little bit about you. Tell us a little bit about you.
Well, so I'm a product of Fort Bend ISD. Started in kindergarten, obviously, and then graduated from Kempner High School in 1996. And so I grew up literally in the schools. My mom actually retired from Fort Bend after about 35 years. She was not a teacher. She was like an admin assistant, attendance type thing. So I ran the halls of schools for 15 years. And so when I went to college, I really didn't know what I was going to do. And my mom always told me, you'd be a great teacher and a great coach. And, you fight your parents all the time. You don't ever want to do what your parents think that, you should do. But I did fall into teaching and got my degree in kinesiology. And then when I graduated, I happened to luck into a PE job at Sartartia Middle School, which was actually where my mom was working. So my first job was with my mom, and I have been there ever since. So this is my 24th year. And I have done all 24 years at Sartartia Middle School.
Wow.
And so super lucky to have that. Not many people start at the school. And more than likely, I don't plan on going anywhere. I plan on finishing there. So I could potentially have been there forever.
This is
I just
indeed
missed
a
it
calling.
opening by 1 year. So I
Wow.
started 1 year after the school opened.
So this is a calling for you.
It really is, honestly. Was super athletic, all through Kempner, played sports, volleyball and soccer, and have coached all of the sports in middle school. Middle school coaches every year. It's you coach where you're needed. Definitely a PE teacher calling for sure.
One of the things that I've learned about successful leaders is their sustainability. They're able to have sustained success. I see that in you and your journey. What do you think you attribute to your success for such a long period of time?
Amazing principles. I started off back when I first started teaching with JJ Kyle. And then we've had a few go through, but Ginger Carabine, who is amazing, super great mentor. And even now with Charlie Oglesby, she creates that culture where everybody's supported. And when you end up with an administration or a principal that through thick and thin supports you, no matter where you are in your journey, you want to stay. You want to stay with them. You want to support them. And anything they do, you want to make sure is successful.
We got to make sure we never lose sight of the people.
Exactly.
Sometimes we put process over people, but it sounds like what you're saying is the key to sustain leadership is putting people
Correct.
over the process.
And feeling valued, right? When you have
Absolutely.
an administration that values the teacher and values your opinion and truly wants what's best for you as a teacher, that just trickles down, right? If they're not good leaders, then you can't be a good leader, in your classrooms, into your department. I've been a department head for so many years now, I can't even count. But even in my department, I have to take what my admin gives me and pass that down to them. And we all have to be on a team, we have to all have one value or one mission. And that's really what we have at Sartartia. I couldn't do it without admin. Definitely could not do it without my PE department. They are amazing. They're amazing.
I've heard a lot about Partner P.E., but I need to hear from the person who knows
Right.
the most about
Well, I don't know if that's
Partner
me,
P.E.
but
Tell the audience who may have no clue, what is
Partner P.E.? Okay, so I'll back up a little bit. So back in April or May of last year, Miss Oglesby came to me and she said, "Hey, we're going to be piloting this Partner P.E. class next year." And I'll be honest, I had absolutely no clue what it was. And she basically just told me that it was where we take general education students and we partner them with students in our special education department, and we have a PE class. And that she really wanted somebody with a passion for teaching and somebody that was gonna, jump in and kind of, take it with the good, the bad, but that we were piloting it. And I was like, absolutely, again, back to that leadership and the value that I put in Miss Oglesby and the trust she puts in us. And I want that program to be super successful for her. And so So I said, absolutely. Where do I sign?
Start,
right? Where do I start? And so we recruited some kids. We had 12 general education students who chose to forego their normal PE class and really do something way bigger than themselves. And honestly, that's the big story here, right? It's not me. I feel like I just facilitate. But the big story here is the general ed students who gave their time to partner with the special education students that come down to PE every day. It doesn't look like a normal PE class. It's not like your normal PE class. And every day is something different. But the gist of the class is building those relationships between gen ed students and the students in the special education program.
Wow. Early on, have you seen like certain benefits either from the general student side or the special needs student side? What have they benefited in what ways have they benefited in terms of being a part of the Partner
Too
PE?
many to even count. Oh my gosh. The benefit really, I kind of look at it like threefold. They are building relationships with these kids and truly happy to see them. Like they come in the gym, they high five, they ask him how they're doing, we walk. The relationship building between the gen ed students and the special education students is tremendous. And when I first took this on, I thought in my mind we were doing this for the special education kids, that they were going to be the ones that saw the most benefit. But really, it's the leadership and the growing of the gen ed students that really, honestly, I am super proud of. And then for the special education kids, I think I had said a while back, I've had these kids in my class. I had some of them in my class last year, and some of them never got out of the bleachers. I didn't know some of them were able to communicate or even do physical things. And we've got girls this year. I have a girl last year that never probably said a word to me. And this year, every day she comes up to me requesting music. She wants a different song to be played or, whatever. And I didn't even know last year she could talk. So as a teacher, like, I'm, reflecting, I'm like, man, like, what could we have done? Like, this class is just so amazing for those kids. It's also having, like I don't want to say trickle down effect, but the gen ed kids are seeing these special ed kids in theater and in art and at lunch, and they're going up to them and talking to them and helping other kids build relationships with them. So really, honestly, it's more than you could ever have imagined. It's not necessarily the physical part, right? It's the leadership skills that the kids are building and the social relationship skills that everybody is learning about.
Sometimes in our leadership journey, it takes one experience to kind of spark and energize us. And I'm wondering, what has this done for you in terms of just what is possible for young people if you build a relationship and if you set a standard and if you give them a chance to shine?
I think about it all the time, the growth that I've seen in both kids, the growth in, and I do need to shout out, I do have some other helpers that are in the class with me. I have another, I would say co-teacher, his name is Mr. Lane, and so he's in there. And then I have an aide that's in there with me all the time too. Her name is Miss Romo. And I've seen growth in them. Like they're getting up and they're out there and they're teaching. And so the possibilities for this class are endless. I see it as something that every campus can have, every campus should have. I also see it as something that we're way past due for having. Because again, I think back to all those years that the SPED kids in my class, there's 60 to 100 kids in our PE class. And so it's very hard sometimes to get them going and moving and things. But this class has so many possibilities for growth and it's definitely something needed.
Today, we talked about leadership, but it was really more about relationship, which is a key part of leadership. And so I want to thank you for one, just the commitment that you have given the district over a number of years, and also taking on this new opportunity at this stage in your career and investing in our students in a way that's going to have a lifetime impact on them. And as leaders, we want to make an impact that's going to last a lifetime.
Right.
And you are doing that. You're
thank
that
you.
kind of leader. So before we leave, I got to ask you something. I've been hearing something about this 6'7". So
6'7".
yeah, I don't know what that is. Enlighten me.
It is a trend, a social media trend that is spreading like wildfire. And, middle school is the perfect place where trends live and die.
Yes.
And live and breathe.
Yes.
And so you got to go like this. You got to go 6'7".
What does it mean?
I don't. Nobody knows.
Nobody knows what 6'7" means?
Yeah, you got to look it up.
All right, I'll look it up. So it has been a joy learning about Partner P.E., the impact that Partner P.E. has for the students, both on the general ed side and the special needs side, and then what it's done for you and the impact that it has had to help you see the possibilities in all of our students.
Absolutely.
All of those are great opportunities and experiences, and I'm glad that we had an opportunity to hear about Partner P.E. from Coach Vaughn today.
Yay,
so
thank you
for joining the
and thank you
Superintendent
for having
Podcast.
me. And I'm excited to take this out, and spread it to Fort Bend, as many places as we can. And but thank you for the opportunity to share about it.
Absolutely. So this is the Superintendent Podcast. It was an awesome honor to have Coach Vaughn talking about the great things that are going on with Partner P.E. Stay tuned for more about Partner P.E. in the future in Fort Bend ISD.